What's up, gamers? Welcome back to Gamer Grind. Today, we're diving deep into a game that's been turning heads and raising eyebrows. Neverness to Everness. Is it the next big fantasy adventure, or just another overhyped quest that falls flat? Stick around as we break down the graphics, story, gameplay, and everything in between. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. Let's start with the visuals. Because Neverness to Everness is one of those games that slaps you in the face with its beauty right from the get-go. The game takes place in a sprawling world that seamlessly transitions from dark, misty forests to breathtaking, sunlit valleys. The developers clearly put a ton of effort into creating an immersive environment, and it shows. The graphics are simply stunning. We're talking next-level detail here. The texture work on everything, from the bark of ancient trees to the scales on mythical creatures, is incredibly detailed. The lighting is dynamic, with day-night cycles that genuinely impact gameplay and mood. 1 minute you're bathed in the golden glow of a sunset, and the next, you're creeping through shadowy woods, lit only by the faint glow of your lantern. What really sets Neverness to Everness apart, though, is the art direction. The world is a mix of gothic fantasy and surreal, dreamlike landscapes. It feels like stepping into a painting. The design of the characters and monsters is equally impressive. The main character, Kieran, is designed with a level of detail that makes him feel almost lifelike, with subtle expressions and movements that change based on his surroundings and health status. The enemy designs are a mix of terrifying and awe-inspiring, with each new creature offering something visually fresh and memorable. But what really blew my mind were the particle effects. Whether it's the sparks from a spell, the leaves blowing in the wind, or the flickering of fireflies at night, these little details add a layer of immersion that's hard to match. The game's visual presentation is nothing short of a masterpiece. It's clear the developers were aiming to create a world that you not only play in but get lost in. And they've nailed it. Now, on to the story. Neverness to Everness tells the tale of Kieran, a young hero who finds himself caught between two ancient, warring kingdoms. Neverness, a dark land cursed with eternal night, and Everness, a realm blessed with everlasting light. The story begins with a simple premise. Kieran must restore balance to these two realms, but quickly spirals into a complex web of alliances, betrayals, and ancient prophecies. The narrative is a slow burn, but in the best possible way. It's full of rich lore and deep character development. Kieran is more than just a typical fantasy protagonist. He's got layers, struggling with his own doubts and fears, while also wrestling with the weight of his destiny. The game does a great job of making you care about his journey. And it's not just Kieran. The supporting characters are also well fleshed out, each with their own motivations and backstories that tie into the larger narrative. But what really sets the story apart are the choices you make along the way. Neverness to Everness features a branching narrative, meaning your decisions can drastically alter the course of the game. Do you ally with the shadowy figures of Neverness, or do you fight for the light in Everness? Your choices impact everything, from the characters who join you to the very fate of the two kingdoms. This gives the game massive replay value, as you'll want to see how different decisions play out. The writing is top-notch, with dialogue that feels natural and a story that's both epic and intimate. The game doesn't shy away from tackling heavy themes like loss, redemption, and the cost of power, all while keeping you hooked with unexpected twists and turns. Of course, a game can look incredible and tell an amazing story, but it won't amount to much if the gameplay doesn't hold up. So, how does Neverness to Everness play? I'm happy to report, it plays like a dream. The combat system is a blend of action and strategy. It's fast-paced, with a focus on timing and precision, but there's also a deep layer of tactics involved. You can't just hack and slash your way through enemies. You've got to think on your feet, use your environment, and manage your resources wisely. The game gives you a wide array of weapons and magic to choose from, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. The enemies you face are varied and challenging. Some are straightforward brawlers, while others require more strategy to defeat, like figuring out their weaknesses or exploiting the environment. Boss battles, in particular, are a highlight. Each one feels like a unique puzzle, with multiple stages and patterns that keep you on your toes. Outside of combat, the game offers plenty of exploration and puzzles to solve. The world of Neverness to Everness is huge, with secrets hidden around every corner. You'll spend hours exploring its many dungeons, castles, and wild landscapes. The puzzles are well designed too, not too easy, but not frustratingly difficult either. They often require you to use your abilities in creative ways. Now let's talk about the sound design. The audio in Neverness to Everness is just as impressive as the visuals. The soundtrack is a sweeping orchestral score that perfectly complements the game's epic tone. It ranges from haunting melodies that play in the dark woods of Neverness to uplifting anthems when you enter the bright fields of Everness. The sound effects are equally well done. Every swing of your sword, every spell you cast, feels impactful thanks to the crisp, powerful audio. The ambient sounds also do a lot to immerse you in the game world, from the rustling of leaves in the wind to the distant cries of creatures in the night. It all comes together to create an atmosphere that pulls you in and keeps you there. Finally, let's talk about replayability and in-game content. As I mentioned earlier, the game's branching narrative and choice-driven gameplay mean that Neverness to Everness has a lot of replay value. You'll want to go back and see how different choices affect the story and the world. But beyond that, there's also plenty of in-game content to keep you playing after you've finished the main story. The game features several hidden dungeons and challenges that only become available once you've completed certain parts of the story. These areas are tough, but they offer some of the best loot in the game, along with new lore and story details that expand on the main narrative. There's also a new Game Plus mode that lets you carry over your progress and tackle even tougher challenges. So, after all that, where does Neverness to Everness stand? In my opinion, this game is a must-play for any fan of fantasy RPGs. It's a game that's as beautiful as it is deep, with a story that will keep you hooked from start to finish, and gameplay that's both challenging and rewarding. My final rating? I'm giving Neverness to Everness a solid 9.5 out of 10. It's not perfect. There are a few minor bugs here and there, and some of the side quests can feel a bit repetitive, but these are small issues in what is otherwise a phenomenal game. Thanks for tuning in to Gamer Grind. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more gaming content. Let me know in the comments if you've played Neverness to Everness and what you think of it. Until next time, keep grinding, and I'll see you in the next video.